Hey everyone, good afternoon or good morning, I should say. This is Christine George from Remax Leading Edge, and I'm here with the wonderful Katie Lance.
Hey!
So I am super excited because this is our very first Facebook Live interview, and it's the first of a monthly series called the Remax Leading Edge Success Series. So Katie Lance has been kind enough to be our guinea pig this morning. So if you have joined the broadcast, please leave us a comment. Let us know you're here. Like, share, comment. No dislikes, please. Give us a little slack for this first one. But first of all, let us know you can hear us. Give us a little thumbs up. Want to make sure everybody can hear us. I guess we should just get started.
Let's do it. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. We're really here to talk about your book. But, you know, I want to kind of start from the beginning. You and I have known each other a long time, Katie. Wow, everybody's on. Woo woo. Hi, Melissa. Hey, Marissa. Hi, Aiden. Great to have you guys with us. So I'm just going to start. Katie, you and I have known each other for a really long time. I think we met back when you were still with Inman, and over the last 5 years, we've gotten to know each other, and I, think that I can call you my friend. I've watched you grow your company online for the last 5 years, and I've watched your boys growing up. And so it's been a real pleasure to work with you and to get to know you better. So thanks for being here. You're a real inspiration.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Those of you who don't know, Katie Lance is the CEO and founder of Katie Lance Consulting. She's also author of the Amazon best-selling book, Get Social Smart. I have it right here. We're going to talk a little bit about the book a little bit later on. But I want to just get started by, you are super authentic. One of the things I love about you is that you put both your personal and your professional life out there. And you, as you always say, your life is a story, right? So,
absolutely.
So I love that about you. You get to really understand what it's like to know Katie Lance and to work with Katie Lance. But I don't think a lot of people really know how you got your start. So can you just kind of start from the beginning, even like as far back as the Hello Kitty beginning, and let us know a little bit about Katie Lance and where it all began?
The Hello Kitty beginning. I should share with you, I have this Hello Kitty calendar sitting right over here.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll give the quick version. Otherwise, we could be here for a while. So I've always been in marketing and branding. I've always sort of been fascinated with the whole idea of that. I got my start in marketing and sales many moons ago. I worked for a company that probably a lot of people know called Cutco Cutlery. I sold knives in college, and then went on to become a manager and ran a few offices for them. And it was an awesome experience. This was back in the day before email and really the internet. I'm totally dating myself. My gray hairs are showing.
We've all got them.
Exactly. And so learned a lot about what it means to market yourself and what it means to, to build a business. And so worked for them for many, many years. And somewhere in there, met my wonderful husband, Paul, who we met online, which...
That's totally appropriate.
Totally appropriate, which back in 2001, I think my parents thought I was a little crazy.
Yeah, you were kind of ahead of your time getting online.
Right, exactly.
Was it like one of those chat rooms?
Actually, it was. We met in a Yahoo chat room.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm slightly embarrassed to say, but this year we'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary, so we did something right for sure. And then I would say kind of right around that whole time, I kind of took a turn in my business. I got hired by a local real estate company here in the San Francisco Bay Area as their marketing director. And this was, probably 10 or 12 years ago. And had never worked in real estate, but really just sort of loved the whole entrepreneurial spirit of the real estate industry. I know it's a cliche, but it's the American dream. And I just, it really kind of resonated with me. And so I wore just about every hat, was the marketing director, I was the one laying out all the newspaper ads. I taught myself InDesign and Illustrator and Photoshop. And, I I was the gal who was saying, no, you can't put all that in the Sunday paper, right? You just can't write that.
No, clean and crisp.
Exactly. I did. Yep, Betty. I sold knives. They're great knives. And worked for them for many, many years. It was a great company. They're local here in the Bay Area. That's where I went to Inman, my first Inman conference. My boss at the time said, have you ever heard of Inman? I was like, what's Inman? And he took me to my first Inman conference. And I remember sitting in the back of that conference. It was probably 2007 or so, thinking, these are my people, really tech savvy people. And ended up working for Inman for many years, was their social media director, started speaking at a lot of conferences all over the country, our Inman Connect conferences, Agent Reboot conferences. I helped to start the ambassador program with my good friend Chris Smith, and had a blast with him and just did some amazing things. Inman is such a great company, and they've got such a great brand in the industry. And then fast forward to 2012, and I got that entrepreneurial bug, I guess, from working with so many agents over the years, and decided to go out on my own, and was really craving kind of that quality of life to be able to sort of set my own schedule and spend more time with my kids. Along the way, we had 2 kids, so we have 2 boys, as you know. Owen and Luke are 9 and 6 now, which is crazy. I was pregnant when I first started Inman, so it's come a long way.
That's great.
And now, we have Paul, my husband, he quit his corporate job a year ago. So he's now, it's a family business. We're full-time together. And we have a great virtual team. We have 4 other people on our virtual team who help us do all the day-to-day and make me look great, which is always great. And
that's awesome.
I get to speak all over the country and help agents and brokers get smarter about social media.
So, by the way,
short of it.
No, that's great. And I want to make a comment on that, but you just reminded me of something. You guys just hit 10,000 followers on Facebook.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does that feel?
It's kind of mixed feelings in a lot of ways, because I always say likes are not the end all and be all, right? Like, what's the value of a like? But at the same time, it really, it's something I think we're really proud of, because we've really built a strong community. We also had a big milestone on Twitter a couple of days ago. I hit 30,000 followers on Twitter, which is crazy. Just funny that they kind of happened back to back. And I just, I've been on Twitter for years. I've been on Facebook for years. And it just made me really proud that there's so many great people who have said, yes, what you do brings value, and that they have become a part of our community. So it's really humbling, to say the least.
Well, you certainly have built an amazing community. And when you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was you've built an amazing brand, but you use the word community. And I think that really speaks to, who you are and, what really drives you. And talk a little bit about that. Like, what is it that really does drive Katie Lance? What's your why?
That's a good question. Well, there's probably 2 big things. I mean, number one, family for sure. And you know me personally, and I feel so blessed that you and I become not just, colleagues, but really good friends. So you know that about me really well. But family for sure. I mean, we only live once, and at the risk of sounding corny, we're not guaranteed any number of days. So you better make your days count.
Yeah.
So that really drives me each and every day, of making the most out of every day, of being there for my kids. I believe in work hard, play hard. I think that, you don't necessarily need to work 100 hours a week. I think you can work smarter. That's always been the philosophy I've had, and really the inspiration behind the book. And then I would say, on a professional level, for my why, I just feel really passionate about helping, especially folks in the real estate industry. I think that there's, the people in real estate have some of the biggest hearts that I've seen. They work harder than just about anybody I've ever met. Yeah. And there's a lot of overwhelm and stress when it comes to social media and technology. And so I get up every day because I feel like I want to do my part to really help people get better and make it seem less daunting. Yeah. And at the end of the day, give them more time with their family and to be just more productive with what they're doing with social media and technology for their business. So. Yeah.
I love that, Katie. I love that about you. And I, as you know, I started in the consumer products business, back in the early 90s, sort of working on that 30,000 foot level, with large global companies. And it wasn't until I got into the real estate business, and it is a bug. You mentioned it's a bug before.
Yeah.
It's totally a bug because it's a grind for these guys. I mean, they wake up every day unemployed. You know, they have got to go out there and hunt. And I find it so inspiring to watch these agents and the brokerages too. I mean, the brokers carry a lot of the risk. They carry a big part of the risk. And they go out there every single day and they're hunting, and, you know, they're small businesses, especially if you're an agent, you're an individual contractor. You've got to go out there. You've got to market yourself. You've got to sell yourself. I mean, you're not selling houses, you're really selling yourself. And so these guys inspire me. So I love that, you know, I have that same feeling like, wow, if they can succeed and I can be just like one really small part of that, that's the reward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would also say too, I mean, I'm a big believer that for most people, buying and selling a home is a huge moment in their life, right? It's right up there with getting married, having kids, and buying a home. And those are the people that I love working with the most, the agents and brokers who really get that, you know, who are there the day of closing, who are there to hand them the set of keys, who are there to pop that bottle of champagne, and you know, just that piece of it. It's a really sacred experience for a lot of people.
It is.
And that's one of the reasons I love working in the real estate industry.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing. And for a lot of these guys, they're playing psychologist.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a highly emotional thing. So I love that about you. So tell me, you know, becoming an entrepreneur yourself, a lot of responsibility, especially when you have a family. You know, it's not just about you anymore. It's about these other 3 people. You know, so you took a big risk. You're highly successful. And honestly, the Cutco piece, that had to lay an immense groundwork for you, because I've seen those Cutco people work. I mean, if there's anybody that's an entrepreneur, those guys are entrepreneurs, right?
Absolutely. It's true. You're all, everyone who works with Cutco, they're all independent contractors. So you quickly learn if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, and some people don't have it, and that's totally fine too. Everybody has different, you know, gifts and talents in the world. But yes, I learned pretty quickly that I had the bug.
You got to go out there and get it. So now that you are fully out there, you've experienced really great success, you know, what would you say are, you know, the top 3 keys in terms of, you know, being successful? Like, what are the 3 things that you do or make sure are high priority in terms of, you know, creating success for yourself and also maintaining it?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things. I think, first of all, being true to yourself, being true to why you're doing what you're doing. I think it's really easy as an entrepreneur to get really distracted by every new shiny object and every new idea. And I really try to pride myself on staying really focused. I think there's this balance between say yes and figure it out later. And well, wait, that's not really part of our mission, right? And there's always that balance of, well, we want to grow, we want to do big things. I could do that. Let's try this. And is that really in line, right? So I'm always kind of, I think, sort of towing the line with that. And I think that's where having a team around me really helps. You know, when I started out on my own, it was me, myself, and I. And my husband has always been there in the background, but now he's with us full time. And just as we started to grow our team, first with an amazing assistant who worked with me for a long time, and then we brought on a marketing coordinator, and then we started bringing on other people to help with our website and now video. And I just feel like, you know, getting the right people around you can make a big difference. I think a lot of times, whether you run your own business like I do, or a real estate professional, obviously, who is also running their own business, or a brokerage, you have to have the right people around you to support you, to challenge you, you know, and to also take off some of the heavy lifting. You know, I learned probably about 2 years ago, I was at a RE/MAX convention, and I heard Darren Hardy speak, who's amazing. I know a lot of you know Darren Hardy. He's a former, actually, I don't know, I think he's the former publisher of Success Magazine, he's a keynote speaker. And he said something that really stuck with me. He said, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what do you do that when you do it, it makes it rain in your business?
Yeah.
And I kind of get chills still talking about it because I used to, at that point, literally just try to be in the weeds of everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I really learned, you know what? I don't need to necessarily know and do everything in my business to make it run. I'm going to burn myself out. And I want to be doing this 10, 20, 30 years from now. Like, this is my legacy. So getting the right people, really thinking about every single day when I wake up, what is it that I do that when I do it and no one else does it, it makes it rain. So I would definitely say a few things.
What is that for you? What is it that makes the rain for you?
You know, I think because of the business that I'm in, and I sort of straddled, I guess, two different industries. I serve the real estate industry, but I'm also in the social media industry, social media marketing world. And so for me, just doing things like this, you know, really being present. My brand is my name, and you know, for a long time, I always thought that was really odd to sort of talk about myself in the third person, but I sort of accepted the fact that in a lot of ways, there's a sort of a brand associated with my name. And what I found that really builds our community, that helps to serve our clients, that really helps to, you know, just drive the business forward, is to do things like this. So whether it's webinars, teaching, you know, if I'm on stage or doing training, I know I'm coming out your way pretty soon. I know we'll get to that. You know, doing things like this, you know, really sharing. I'm a big believer of giving. I think you give to get. I try to come from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Yeah, totally. And so all things like that. And of course, I can't always, you know, just be having fun on Facebook all day long. But, you know, just I would say, like you asked, what is it that makes it rain? Just being, you know, as teaching and being in front of people as much as possible. So, and then just building those relationships, just a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of one-to-one building relationships. There's a lot of stuff that you see on, you know, publicly, but there's also a lot of just, you know, being intentional every day, reaching out to people individually, building those relationships over the course of time. So
you always say it's a marathon and not a sprint. And I love that. And that is one thing that you say all the time that really resonates with me. And so, you know, when you talk about building relationships, whether it's on social media or whether it's face-to-face in front of a group of people on stage, whatever it might be, that may not turn into, you know, a business relationship the next day. But if you're doing your job down the road, it's going to turn into a business relationship. And I think, you know, what I find, especially today, is that we're so, you know, even me who's, you know, on the older side as well, you know, we're so sort of used to instant gratification that, you know, especially if we're that type A personality, it's like, okay, I did my job. Where's the money? You know, where's the Exactly. But you've got to invest. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a financial investment, but an investment of your time to build those relationships will go a long way. You know, if you just, you know, stay with it, be consistent and continue. Absolutely. So you gave me 3 great things. You know, my question, just to kind of recap that, was, you know, what are 3 things that make you successful and allow you to maintain that level of success? And the first one was focus. I think that's critically important. And I find that is the one thing I find, especially with agents, is they have so many things to be thinking about, and they do see that shiny object out there a lot, that it's very easy to get distracted. There's a lot of disruption. So focus is really important. Having a great team. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, you're only as strong as the people around you. So that's critically important. And then be the rainmaker. You know, that's key.
Can I add like a PS, a footnote to my 3?
A bonus success.
A bonus success tip. Totally. As you were talking, I would say a big thing has been systems.
Yes.
Big time, because as you said, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And I have always banked on the fact that it's a numbers game. And I learned this back in my Cutco days. I knew that if I made, you know, 10 calls, I would get 6 sales or whatever. Like, it's always a numbers game, right? And sort of the sales side of me that comes out. And so I bank on that. And I know that if I want to get to my, you know, revenue goal of XYZ, I need to have, you know, whatever it might be, you know, 2 speaking gigs a month. I need to spend, you know, at least 20 minutes a day doing XYZ. Like, and when you just know that and you just get some systems in place, it doesn't have to be like this crazy, you know, 25-page plan, but just a couple things that you do every day consistently, like that's where it happens. Yeah. And that's where all of a sudden you start getting business from things you're like, oh my gosh, I met you 6 months ago. Oh yeah, that was a year ago. Like and it starts to snowball, and so you got to bank on that.
Totally exciting. I love it. I totally love it. And Lisa just said, you have to plant seeds if you hope for the harvest. It's totally true. Yep. Totally true. Yep. I want to shift a little bit. I want to talk about the book. Yeah. It's called Get Social Smart. Oops. Can everybody see it? Get Social Smart, Katie Rance. It is now an Amazon best-selling book, right?
Yes, it's pretty exciting. Pretty blown away by the whole thing. So yes.
I know it was on your bucket list. I mean, you've been sort of talking about it for a couple of years now. It happened. It's here. You had an amazing writer in Melanie Rembrandt, who I've done some business with and love. And this is actually not my book. This is one we have in the office, but my book has thousands of earmarks in it and highlights. And I continually go back and, revisit things. Like one of the things that I'm constantly revisiting is the best way to promote, like something like this live video, or how to repurpose content. I mean, the steps that you provide are just unbelievably easy to follow and intuitive. But I want you to just talk a little bit about the book. I want to know what the inspiration for the book was, and kind of, what you were hoping to accomplish. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes. So the book was a labor of love. And if my team is watching, they're probably giggling because this darn book took me, I swear, it was faster to give birth to kids than it was to write a book.
That's totally saying a lot.
So in a lot of ways, I feel like the book is my third child.
Hey, Sean.
I just really felt like, so the book is Get Social Smart, and that's sort of been the theme of a lot of what I do. A lot of my keynote presentations, a lot of my training. We had launched our Get Social Smart Academy, officially about a year or so ago. And I just am a big believer that, there's so much social media content that's out there. You could go on Google and Google social media for real estate. You could go Google how to do Facebook ads. And what you'll come up with is probably 1 million, if not 100 million hits. And you'll see YouTube videos and this and that. But I really felt like, especially for the real estate industry, that I wanted to provide a guidebook. I remember back in the day, I used to read like those dummies books, books for, I don't know, Windows 3.0. Now I'm totally dating myself, right? And I thought, I want to write that kind of book. I want to write a book where everything that I talk about, from how to create a strategy, how to think about content like video or blogging, how to think about all the different social media platforms. Not that you have to be on all of them, but if you want to be on Snapchat or Periscope or Twitter or a few of them, how those work together, how to promote yourself, how ads work, how to think about a social media policy, especially if you're a brokerage. What are some of my favorite resources? And so I had all this content over the years from blogging and videos and keynote presentations. And I reached out to our friend, as you know, Melanie, who's a great editor. And she helped me really kind of think about how to kind of organize a lot of the content I already had, and then put that in really a book format and edit it and make it look, cohesive, sort of like this finished product. So the goal behind the book, to be honest, is if somebody could read it from start to finish, if they wanted to, or for me, when I read a business book, a lot of times I'm like, okay, I need to know about this right now. I'm going to go to chapter 6, right? Or whatever it might be. And, and kind of pick and choose. So there's 23 chapters in the book. There's 6 case studies at the end. We interviewed some of my favorite clients over the years. I have some amazing clients we've worked with, but I had some really gracious clients who were willing to open up a little bit about the work that they had done with me, and a little bit about what they had done to improve their business with social media. So I'm super proud of it. We've had, to be honest with you, I didn't write a book to become a bestseller. I didn't write it to, become a millionaire of having a book. Yeah. I just felt like it was the next logical step. And for somebody who really is looking for that guidebook and that resource, either for themselves or for their marketing team, to get smarter. I felt like that was a good thing. So
Well, thanks for sharing that. It is a guidebook. So I read it cover to cover. I love the case studies in the back. But like I said, I do go back to various chapters depending on what I'm trying to information I'm trying to get at. But, one of the things that I think you're super talented at is, taking something that's seemingly overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I don't know, to me, I think it can be overwhelming to somebody who's even 10 years younger than me, but it's hugely overwhelming to especially real estate agents who didn't grow up with the technology.
Yeah.
Don't fully understand it. In their minds, it hasn't been proven. We have a ton of agents who still say print, they want everything in print advertising, and I really try to steer them away from that. But you take something that's seemingly incredibly overwhelming and you're able to break it down into sort of bite-sized pieces, Thank you. And really allow it. It's really, it's accessible and achievable. And, I personally find now I'm never going to be on Snapchat. Let's just say that right now. You will never find me on Snapchat, as Podolsky says. But you make me want to go on Snapchat. You make me want to be in every social media platform there is out there. Just because I think because you are your authentic self and people can relate to you, I think people feel like I can do it. Katie Lance can do it, and she's showing me how to do it. I can do it. So
appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's one of your biggest assets is, you're able to really break it down so that it's easy, and implement.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel like a lot of times when you hear people talk about social media or technology, and I don't know, I find that there's sometimes a lot of ego, and that I hear this a lot. I'll sit in a conference because I love attending conferences as much as I love speaking at conferences. And I always love to learn how other speakers, behave and how they are on stage. And sometimes, and I'm sure we've all seen speakers who kind of sort of talk down to people, especially when it comes to social media and technology. And I don't know, I just am a big believer that, I don't know, for me personally, I just try to empower people and kind of bring people back to the fact that it's not necessarily about the technology, it's about relationships. And if you can kind of have that mindset shift that, the Facebook app on your phone, it's just one other way to keep in touch with people, just like texting, just like email, and just like the phone. And social media will never replace face-to-face. It'll never replace a handshake. It'll never replace a handwritten note. It's just when done right, it'll make it even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And so let's talk a little bit about that. I often get the question, I'm not really comfortable sharing my personal life. And, there are a lot of sort of analytical people out there who feel like they need to compartmentalize things. And then there are people who will come to me and say, okay, if I get on there, how much personal is too much personal? And then, of course, you've got people who are just really hesitant about integrating both their professional and personal selves. So what advice would you give? And it's really, it's all spelled out in the book, but, here live, what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with that?
Well, I think, first of all, sorry, I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. I don't know if you hear that or not. Hold on one second. I'm going to talk again, see if I can still hear it. Do you hear that at all, or you're okay?
I don't hear it.
Okay, good. Well, maybe just me. Maybe I'll just take this out so I don't hear myself, and then I'll put it back in when you talk. Okay, so I would say for most people, I get that, in terms of like, you don't want to share too much. You don't want to overshare. You don't want to, I don't think you need to share what you had for breakfast every moment of your life. But I think it's important for people to think about the reason why social media works the way it does is the first word in social media is social, right? It's that personal piece of it. So I would recommend for agents to really think about what are some things that they are comfortable sharing. Maybe it's their hobbies, their interests. I like to say, look at your life as content as you're out and about. You see a beautiful sunset, you see a beautiful front door of a home. You're having a great cup of coffee, you're having a great glass of wine. things like that we share, that helps to connect us, right?
Yep.
People work with us because of our experience and our expertise, but they connect with us because of things that are personal, right? You're a mom, I'm a mom. You love a great glass of wine, I love a great glass of wine. Like, we connect over things that are personal. So I think that's important to keep in mind. The other thing I would say too is that it's not so much necessarily about you and what you have to post every day and what you have to share. I think there's a lot of value in an agent really thinking about, what are other people talking about, right? Yeah. What are your clients? If you're friends with your clients on Facebook, you can put them into a private list on Facebook. Yeah. And then instead of going to your noisy news feed with, cat videos and everything else, you can take a few minutes to interact and comment, wish people happy birthday, and be interested in others. Right? Yep. What's that saying? The best way to be interesting is to be interested in other people. Yep. So if you're a little nervous about what to post, and maybe you're feeling, like you said, private and kind of, just not sure, like, I would start there. Start with being interested in other people. Yep. And I would also say, try out a couple different platforms. Facebook may not be your cup of tea. Maybe it is Snapchat. Maybe it is Instagram. Yep. And be where you're most comfortable. So that's what I would say.
I see a little elf behind me.
Oh, I do see an elf. My echo is gone too. Yay.
Oh, good. A couple of folks have heard it, but Katie, Lisa, Melissa, let me know if sounds like it might be better. Give us a thumbs up. You bring up a really good point. Which is be interested, not interesting.
Yeah.
And I gave a presentation not too long ago. Actually, I think you were here for that, or maybe it was before, whatever. But I sort of liken it to when you're on a date,
yes.
I got married older, so I've been on some really bad dates.
Yep.
And when the guy does nothing but talk about himself, it's really not a fun date, right?
Yeah, such a great analogy.
So I think it's, like when you're with a client, when you're on social media, find out what's going on with other people and engage in what's interesting, to them. So I think that's great feedback. The other thing that I hear in my brain constantly, the Katie Lance, phrase that I hear, and you've already said it once today, is you have to give to get.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody who does that super amazingly well, it's you. I mean, you are constantly putting content out there that's free, to try to continue to bring value to your clients and your potential clients. Talk a little bit about that. What does that mean to give to get, and why is that important?
Well, I think especially when you think of content, right? I think I mentioned this a second ago, of coming from a place of abundance versus scarcity. I think sometimes I talk to a lot of different business owners in different industries, and people are really afraid. They don't want to share their secret sauce because that's how they make their money.
Yep.
And so, I don't think you have to give away the farm. You don't have to tell everything. Yeah. But in this day and age, with the amount of noise and the amount of stuff happening on social media, and if somebody wanted to find any professional, all they have to do is within 2 clicks, Google somebody, right? Yeah. But most people, especially in real estate, don't just Google somebody. They ask their best friend. They ask their, cousin that just sold a house last year. And so staying top of mind and providing really good, relevant information is really valuable. Yeah. And so for us, we found, and I learned this at Inman, to be honest. This was, such a core to obviously Inman's a media company. And I had started blogging and creating a lot of content with Inman, and really realized how valuable that is, to not just create content, but have a real intentional plan of sending it out through email, posting it out on social media multiple times, not all in the same day, but really having a systematic plan. And what happens is when you provide great content over the course of time, the leads that you get from great content are so much better. Yeah. And this happens to me probably on a daily basis, where people say things like, Katie, I feel like I know you. I feel like you're in my head. I want to work with you. When can we talk? When can I hire you? Like, not when can I hire a social media person? Like, they want to work with me. And that's what happens, right? So
because they already trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you think about real estate content, there's so much information out there. You Google best way to list your house, you'll get a million articles, but there's nobody who's going to say it like you're going to say it, right? With your heart and your opinion. And that's the difference. I see a lot of people trying to create content or hiring someone to do it for them. And what's missing is them, like their heart. A lot of times I'll go on someone's Facebook page. Here's a great example. I'll go on an agent's Facebook page. It'll say, take a look at my page. And I'll see that they posted some interesting links, some articles, maybe even some pictures. But I have no idea what they sound like. I have no idea what they stand for. I have no idea what it feels like to work with them. And so even in 2017, video is not the new thing, but it is such a great way to differentiate yourself, either doing Facebook Live like you're doing. I love that you guys are embracing this. Like, kudos to RE/MAX Leading Edge. I love it.
We learn from the best.
Well, thanks. It's that philosophy of you give to get. And the thing about it is it takes time. And most people give up too early. What happens to most people is they start creating content like video or email newsletters or podcasting or video. And they kind of quit around like the 6-month mark or the 8-month mark because it's hard, because it takes time, and because they're not getting any results. They're getting like 2 people to like it. One of them's their mom. And what they don't realize is you just haven't you haven't done it long enough, right? Like it's like pushing this snowball up a hill. And once you get to the top, typically around kind of that 1-year mark, sometimes sooner, sometimes later, that's when the snowball starts to come down. And that's where this whole philosophy of give to get. You want to get business. You want to get great leads. You want to get people who want to work with you, your people, not just any random person, but like you want to work with people who you love to work with. And that's where content marketing comes into place big time.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting me like totally fired up because, it's really true for any marketing tactic. Marketing doesn't happen overnight. Whether it's your traditional television advertising or radio or print or whatever it is, you're not going to see direct results overnight. It's going to I always say to agents, whatever it is you're doing for business development on the marketing side, it's going to take 18 to 24 months. So patience is really important. And of course, when we're in sales, we're not very patient. But social media is no different. But except that, it's so much more rewarding. I mean, you're so right about the leads being super warm or even hot, because by the time they come to you, they're ready. They're ready to buy the house. They're ready to sell the house. They're ready to, buy into the academy, whatever it is. I mean, it's so much better than some random Zillow lead that you have no idea how far along they are in the process. And man, wouldn't it be way more fun to put your own content out there for 18 months than to, try to chase around a buyer who's really not that interested, for 18 months?
It's a whole different, it's just so much more fun also, I mean, I get a lot of leads to my website of people who maybe Googled me or don't know me. And I love those leads too, but it's just different. It's a much different conversation when I'm on the phone or I'm meeting them face to face and they have no idea who I am. And I know agents go through this all the time. They're sitting down with somebody and maybe they were referred, but they don't know that person. And you're not like, you're starting from that place of building that, who you are and explaining who you are. You're at ground zero versus like you said, oh my gosh, I've been following you for years. Like, when can we talk? I'm ready to work with you. And like, and I'll also say too, the agents and brokers that we see, and you guys do this really well too, who are getting a lot of business from social media, they're leaning into who they are and who they're not, right? And they're not trying to catch this big net of every single, person 20 to 65 years old, right? They're really trying to niche into, who do I love working with? Is it women? Is it men? Is it people of a certain age? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it luxury clients? And when you can kind of tailor your content to speak to that audience, that's how you attract that, right? Like attracts like. So I would just really encourage anybody who's listening and thinking about content to obviously you don't want to be polarizing. You don't want to offend a lot of people. Obviously, I get that. But at the same time, don't be afraid to lean into who you are and be authentic. And that might turn off some people, but that's okay. Like, you don't want to work with them anyways, right? So work with who you want to work with.
Isn't it so much easier just to be yourself?
It is. It's exhausting to try to be somebody else.
It is. It totally is. I just want to stop here and remind everybody, I'm Christine George from Remax Leading Edge, and we are here with social media guru, CEO, and author Katie Lance. And we're talking about her book, Get Social Smart with Katie Lance. It's an Amazon best-selling book. And Katie, I just want to shift a little bit. You've been kind of traveling all over the country, signing books, making presentations, and I'm super excited to announce that you are coming here to the Boston area on September 8th. You will be here giving a presentation from 10 to 12. You'll actually be in Burlington at the Hilton Garden Inn. As part of that, everyone who purchases a ticket for that event, they actually will get a copy of Katie's book, and Katie will be there to personally sign it. I want to give a special shout out actually to Nikki Shargill and Shant Bonosian, who are on here live with us. They're from Guaranteed Rate. They are sponsoring your book tour as well as
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
They're huge fans of yours. Costa Legris from Legris and Associates Law Associates are also sponsoring, and as of course is Remax Leading Edge. So we're super excited to be bringing you here. I do want to let people know that the first 50 people who purchase tickets will get 40% off their ticket.
Nice.
We will post the link on the replay, but if you kind of want to go there now, it's leadingedgeagents.com/blog/events/Katie Lance. And again, we'll post that link on the replay. Before I let you go, I have two final questions.
All right.
Bring it on. Here we go. Ready? The first one is really, where do you go from here? What's next for Katie Lance?
Well, that's a good question. Well, we're continuing to grow. We're growing our academy each and every month. We had one of our best months ever last month, which was super exciting. Thank you. Continuing to do a lot of training, a lot of speaking. I have 16 events that I'm going to be at between now and Thanksgiving, which is a little crazy. So I'm going to be on the road quite a bit these next few weeks.
Wow.
And just continuing to build and grow. Maybe at some point we'll write 2.0 of the book.
You probably will have to, because technology and social media will change so much by then.
Well, exactly. I know. Every time there's a new update, I'm like, it's just one of the reasons why it took me so long to put it out to begin with. But yeah, we're just continuing to do what we do. We're growing our academy, doing a lot of training and speaking, still doing a lot of consulting. And just enjoying life. Like I said, work hard and play hard. We just got back from vacation a few days ago, and
love the video that you guys put together.
Thank you. My sons wanted to do a vlog. They want to be YouTubers. So that was super fun to do that and to create a vlog. Every day they're like, how many likes? How many subscribers do we have, Mom?
I know. Well, they're learning from the best, that's for sure. So,
I don't know. I think I might have created a monster, so we'll see.
I'm surprised they're not popping in behind you.
I know. Well, if they were here, they would be, but I kicked them out.
That's funny. So Katie, my final question to you is, I ask this to people a lot because I think it says a lot about, what motivates them and sort of where they come from. In real estate, we really are guides for our clients. Mm-hmm. But everybody has a mentor and everybody has a guide. Who's been your greatest mentor and why?
Oh, that's a good question. Who's been my greatest mentor? Gosh, I don't think I've necessarily just had one mentor. I've had a lot of people over the years. People that I've gone to personally, people that I've admired from afar. As corny as it might sound, not that I know her personally, but I've always admired Oprah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, some of you know my Oprah story. That'll be another Facebook Live.
I don't know the Oprah story. You have to give us the Cliff Notes version.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, very long story short, I had always wanted to go to the Oprah show. It was like on my bucket list back when she had a show. And I guess it was about 2010, 2011 or so. I was working at Inman News, and my boss at the time, Tracy Weir, who you know, Tracy's awesome. She's also been a great mentor of mine as well. Super talented lady. Runs her own consulting company now as well. And she challenged me. She said, Katie, put your money where your mouth is. You're always talking about social media. Why don't you launch a social media campaign? So I launched this campaign called Save Me a Seat, Oprah. And yeah, if you Google it, you'll probably find it somewhere. You'll see YouTube videos of me. I had a Facebook page. I had a hashtag. And within 30 days, I had 2 different people from Harpo call me and reach out to me and invite me to come to the show. So, and not to be on the show, but to be a guest.
Yeah.
I got to bring my best friend. So I brought my best girlfriend, and a couple months later, we were on a flight to Chicago, and we were in one of her last shows. It was amazing to be there. And, you know, as Oprah always, you know, would give away things, we actually won a trip. We won an amazing, she gave all the audience a spa trip to Miraval, which is this like exclusive spa for the stars in Arizona. And so it was amazing. So that's like
for you. That's awesome.
But I've always admired, you know, some people, you know, may like her, may not like her, whatever. But I think as a strong female, she's built an amazing empire. I always loved from watching her show and just reading things that she said about, you know, kind of her point of view with things. Yeah. I think a lot of times when, you know, when it comes to women, you think, oh, I have to be a certain way to run my own business or to be a leader. And I love that I feel like has really sort of just leaned into who she is and who she's not. So again, she's not, you know, a close personal friend, although if you're watching, I'd love to meet you in person, but I've always admired, you know, a lot of what she does and how she conducts herself personally and professionally.
Yeah. I would agree with you. I think what she overcame in her childhood is, you know, unimaginable to some of us. The way that she has carried herself, she's been completely true to herself. And, you know, she has, one of the things that she has that I love about her, and she's not embarrassed about, is that she has a lot of empathy. Mm-hmm. And you don't find that in leaders very often. And I think that's a great example for not only women, but for men, you know, in leadership positions. And I do love her a lot. So great example. Awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
So before we finish, I just want to say thanks again for being here, Katie, and for all of you. We had quite a few people here. Thanks for tuning in, and if you are watching the replay, thank you for watching. I would love to hear your comments and get any feedback. We are going to be doing these once a month. We will be featuring various real estate influencers, agents, brokers, and, you know, people within the industry that we can learn a little bit up from their success. The next one's scheduled for August 30th. But if you are interested in seeing this beautiful woman live, she will be here with her book, and she will sign it, and maybe she might even take a photo op with you.
Absolutely.
That you social media. September 8th, that's a Friday from 10 to 12 at the Hilton Garden Inn in Burlington, Massachusetts. You can purchase tickets. First 50, again, get 40% off. Tickets at leadingedgeagents.com/blog/events/Katie Lance. And that is it. Thank you so much, Katie. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you very soon.
Okay.
Bye. Are you still there?
I am. You're still